The greatest enemy, the greatest obstacle, the greatest impediment to mankind isn't something from the outside. It isn't actually any external force, but rather it is more so of an internal force. It is the cause, the result of a projection onto an object, and we take the object to be the causal thing, but rather it is the projection itself that leads us to live the way we live, which is a life full of fear, stress, anxiety, and worry. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the mind. The mind being our companion, our forever companion. We are forever chained to the mind. And so I want to give in a perspective in which we don't have to be chained to the mind. We don't have to become a slave to the mind, but rather the mind can become our servant. And that is really what the greatest people were able to do. They were able to master and understand the mind for them, in order for them to like create beautiful things, create great things, and rather become friends of the mind rather than become slaves of it. So that's basically what this video will be about, and we'll proceed. So our greatest fears, our worries, our stresses, our past, the memories that disturb us, all of these things, they exist in one place, and that one place is the mind. It is inside of our being. It is what causes us to act the way that we do whenever something happens in the world. And so the mind, we take it in, we analyze the world, and so we conclude it as good or bad. It is either or, you know. And so when we look at experiences in the past or even experiences that we think of in the future, we're always judging it with our mind, and we're most of the time, something that I've noticed, and this is why so many things, why there's so much chronic stress, chronic diseases going on in the world, is that we usually judge it on the negative side, and we never really train our minds to look at the positives, and also not even become attached to the positives or the negatives, but rather see both sides and create something out of them. So to understand why exactly we have so much trouble taking control of our mind, or actually becoming the masters of our mind and of our life, we have to first understand that the mind, the brain, it is the most sophisticated thing in this universe. It is a system. It is a technology, and it is one of the highest forms of technology ever to exist. You know, and we were never given a manual for it. We were never taught how to use it, and we just grew up with this idea of the world being the way it is. That's just the way it is. You know, we don't ask questions. We just do, and I think it's time that we change that. So, first off, the mind is connected to consciousness. There is actually an aspect of consciousness, and that's why it is so difficult to understand. It is so sophisticated because consciousness itself is sophisticated. And I will put a link above just so you guys can take a look at my video on consciousness, and I explain my own perspective and how consciousness works in the video. But anyways, to basically understand the mind, you only need to know one thing, really. It is very simple. And this kind of also explains why hypnosis works. Basically, the mind feeds back to you whatever you give it. It is a machine that consumes, and whatever it eats, it becomes, okay? So the more you feed it, the more it becomes whatever you feed it. And also, it is actually a very useful tool because it gives you what you ask for. You know, if you ask for more reasons to be angry, it will give you more reasons to be angry. Or if you ask for more like vegetarian spots in the city, it will give you more ideas to find vegetarian spots, or it will open you up your eyesight, your perception, in a way that filters out the things that you don't need, so that you can actually find these places or these things that you're looking for. It is a very interesting machine. It molds perception. It molds your reality based on whatever you ask it to do. And this is like basically proven by the looking into the reticular activation system, which basically is science's way of explaining this process, which is whatever you focus on is what you see. So if you see positive, or you focus on positive, you don't care about positive, then you'll see more positives. Okay, it's a very simple explanation, but it is something within that explanation lies the key to like understanding how reality and how reality works with the mind and how the mind works itself. You must understand that you come into this world equipped. You come into this world with many different tools and technologies built within you. You know, you have your cardiac system, you have your digestive system, you have your skeletal system. All of these things have a reason to be there, and so they serve a purpose, right? And because the mind exists, because you have a mind that exists, it must also serve a purpose. So things go bad or they go wrong whenever we don't use these things properly, whenever we're not aware of how these systems work. If you eat unhealthy, we understand that our digestive system won't be functioning as well. Our body won't be functioning as well. So however you eat with your mind will also impact the way your mind works. This is very important, and it's something that puts a lot of emphasis, or it adds another layer to the saying, you are what you eat, because you don't just eat through your body, you don't just eat through your mouth, but you also eat through your nose, through your eyes, through your thoughts, through your feelings, to the people that you're surrounded with. All of these things matter, and to put it up even more in a more important and more essential way or perspective is that basically everything that comes into this world first it is an idea. It first comes from the mind. That is the way things are transmitted. You know, if you want to say something, where did it come from? It came from the configuration that was built inside your mind, and then it was spoken using your tongue. So to really capture the importance of mastering the mind, you have to first understand that everything comes from the mind. And so if you master the mind, then you basically master your life. To master the mind, it means to actually be able to produce good things with whatever it touches. This is the belief of the Midas touch. You know, everything you touch turns to gold. And that is something that you want to embody in your life, which is basically any thought that or any situation that you have that arises in your world or in your mind, you are able to turn it into something that will serve both you and the world and those people around you. To be able to master the mind means to be able to look at life in a way where it is actually a byproduct of who you are, of your thoughts, of your beliefs, of your reactions. And so now you become a master of your life also. And to master the mind basically means to be able to create from nothing, to create from any situation, and to also have a control over your own emotions and your own beliefs and make them your own. You know, the reason that bias and that the fear of being wrong and the fear of being judged exists, the reason all of these things exist is because of the mind. If we realize that, if we identify with the mind, we become chained to the mind. If we see ourselves as only the mind, then we are limited to that extent. But if we see rather the mind as being a tool, as being an aspect of ourselves, as being a technology, then we're able to actually jump out of that box and then be able to have our mind, sharpen it, and put it into, and like make use of it in every situation we go to in life. And this eliminates so many things. You know, it eliminates the need to feel accepted. It eliminates the need to feel good, or eliminates the need to feel abundance. It eliminates all of that because of the fact that now you don't accept criticism unless you want to. You know, you don't accept negativity unless you want to, and you don't accept any lack or any feeling of nothingness unless you want to. These are all because the mind accepts whatever you give it. And so if you accept what comes, and if you accept everything that comes, then you basically have no direction. But if you are consciously doing it and doing it with intention, then there's nothing that is really out of your control. Life becomes 80%, you know, you take on like 80% of your life, and then the rest is basically just whatever situation arises. So that's basically my take on the mind. You know, a quick little explanation. It's a quick little explanation for you. Hopefully it's helpful. If you guys like the video, make sure to like, subscribe. We got more videos coming. Let me know what you think. And that's basically it. Peace.